It was a night like any other, silent, dark, and unnervingly still. But for the drivers on these isolated highways, the darkness was more than just a lack of light. It was a veil hiding something far more sinister. Tonight we're going to uncover 4 true stories of nighttime highway encounters so terrifying, they left drivers shaken to their very core. Some say these are accidents of the mind, others insist they are encounters with forces beyond comprehension. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain. These stories will make you think twice before driving alone after dark. So buckle up and prepare yourself for a journey into the unknown. On a chilly October evening, Mark, a 32-year-old salesman, was driving back from a late client meeting. The highway stretched endlessly ahead, flanked by dense forests, their branches clawing at the moonlight. His car radio played soft rock, but the melody seemed muffled against the eerie silence of the night. As he navigated a particularly lonely stretch, a figure appeared in the distance. At first, Mark thought it was a deer, but as he drew closer, he realized it was a young woman, standing by the side of the road, thumb outstretched. She was pale, her long hair tangled and dark against the dim light of his headlights. There was something off about her. Instinctively, he slowed down and rolled the window down. "Need a ride?" he called out. She nodded silently, her eyes avoiding his gaze. Mark felt a chill ripple down his spine, but he rationalized it. Maybe she had been stranded for hours. She climbed into the back seat, cold and silent. Mark tried to make small talk, but every word seemed swallowed by the darkness outside. Her presence was unsettling. It wasn't just her silence. It was as if she wasn't entirely there, her form slightly translucent in the rearview mirror. Minutes passed, the silence between them heavy and suffocating. Mark's mind started racing. He had heard the urban legend of the Vanishing Hitchhiker, a ghost who rode for a few miles before disappearing. He shook his head, dismissing the thought. Then, without warning, he glanced in the rearview mirror, and she was gone. The seat behind him was empty, the temperature inside the car dropping sharply. His breath visible in the sudden cold. Panic surged. He slammed on the brakes, heart hammering, but the highway remained empty, silent except for the faint hum of the tires. Later, Mark would learn from a local news article that a young woman had died in a car accident on that same stretch of highway exactly a year prior. The description matched the figure he had picked up. Same tangled hair, same pale complexion. Some say she still walks the highway, looking for a ride home that never arrives. Mark never drove that highway at night again. And every time he passed that spot in daylight, he felt the same icy chill, as if she were watching, waiting for the next driver to come too close. Lisa, a 24-year-old nurse, had just finished a 12-hour night shift. Exhausted but eager to get home, she merged onto the quiet stretch of highway that cut through the outskirts of her town. Fog had begun rolling in, thick and white, obscuring the lines on the road. About 20 minutes into her drive, she noticed something strange in the distance. A tall, dark figure standing in the middle of the highway. Brakes screeched as she swerved, narrowly avoiding the silhouette. Her heart raced. She slowed, gripping the steering wheel tightly, convinced it was some kind of prank or a lost traveler. Then it moved. Smooth, unnaturally fast, sliding across the asphalt with no sound. Lisa's pulse quickened. It didn't walk or run, it glided. She hit the accelerator, trying to put distance between herself and the figure, but it seemed to mirror her movements, always appearing a few car lengths ahead. Panic turned to terror as she realized it was keeping pace with her car, impossible as it was. She dialed 911, voice shaking, but no one answered. The line was dead. Her headlights barely penetrated the fog, and every time she blinked, the figure seemed closer, its form impossibly tall, dark, and featureless. Desperate, she took an exit, but the shadow followed, appearing at the side road. It stopped only when she reached the safety of her apartment building, disappearing into the fog. Lisa never explained what she saw to anyone, fearing ridicule, but she could still feel its presence, like a weight pressing against the night whenever she drove alone. Locals later whispered about the highway shadow, an entity that targeted travelers who dared drive the fog-laden roads alone. Some say it's the manifestation of accidents waiting to happen, a warning or a curse. James, a young software engineer, was returning home late after a weekend camping trip. Most of the highways were deserted, but he had to pass through an old toll booth that was said to be haunted. The stories warned of strange occurrences, drivers hearing whispers, seeing figures that weren't there, or finding their cars inexplicably stopped. He laughed it off, thinking the tales were exaggerations. But as he approached, the lights of the booth flickered violently. No attendant was present, yet the barrier arm was down. He honked impatient. Then a whisper, soft, almost melodic, echoed from the booth, calling his name. Frozen, he watched as the barrier slowly lifted on its own. That's when he noticed it. The booth was empty, but a faint figure lingered inside, hunched, shrouded in shadows. A voice, hollow and chilling, whispered, "Leave now." James' instincts screamed at him to flee. He gunned the engine, but the car sputtered, refusing to start. The temperature dropped, his breath fogging inside the vehicle. He looked again at the toll booth, and the figure had moved outside, now standing directly in front of the car, blocking his path. In a surge of panic, James jumped out, ran around the vehicle and saw nothing. The road was empty, the booth deserted. He returned to his car, hesitated, then drove off without paying, the figure never reappearing, but the encounter left him shaken. Weeks later, he discovered a chilling local legend. Decades ago, a toll booth operator had been murdered on that exact highway. Witnesses claim his spirit still guards the toll, exacting fear upon those who pass too late at night. It was well past midnight when Ethan and his girlfriend Mia began their drive home from a late movie in a nearby town. The road was empty, stretching endlessly into blackness, broken only by the rhythm of passing reflectors and the low hum of the engine. First it was peaceful. The two laughed about the film, shared stories, and enjoyed the solitude. But somewhere between mile 37 and 38, something changed. A pair of blinding headlights appeared in the rearview mirror. Far too close. Ethan frowned. "This guy's right on my bumper," he muttered, tapping the brake lights lightly to warn the driver behind him. The truck didn't slow. Instead, it swerved, tailing him even closer. The massive grille of the vehicle filled the mirror like the maw of some mechanical beast. Mia turned around. "Ethan, that truck's been following us for a while now." He nodded uneasily. "Yeah, maybe he's trying to pass." But the truck didn't pass. Every time Ethan sped up, it matched his pace. Every time he slowed down, it did too. Never falling back, never overtaking. The headlights burned through the mirror, washing the interior of their car in blinding white. After 10 minutes, the tension became unbearable. Ethan turned onto a smaller side road, hoping to lose it. The truck followed. He took another turn, still there. Another. It stayed glued to their tail, relentless. Mia's voice trembled. "Ethan, please, just stop. Maybe it's someone who needs help." He slammed the wheel. If they needed help, they'd flash their lights or signal. "They're playing with us." Finally, he spotted an old gas station up ahead. Closed but well lit. He pulled in quickly, hoping the driver would move on. The truck slowed behind them, its engine rumbling like a growl. Then it stopped on the opposite side of the road, headlights still fixed on their car. For a long, eerie minute, neither vehicle moved. The night air hung thick and heavy with silence. Ethan reached for the door handle, but Mia grabbed his wrist. "Don't. Just don't." And then the truck's engine roared again, deafening, angry. It surged forward across the road, barreling straight toward them. Ethan threw the car in reverse, tires screeching as they barely dodged the oncoming mass of metal. The truck missed them by inches and disappeared down the highway, vanishing into the dark like it had never been there at all. When the police arrived, they found no tire marks from the truck. No witnesses. No trace. Just Ethan's shaken account and the echo of that roaring engine still in his ears. 2 weeks later, while reviewing local news, Ethan froze. An article appeared about a truck driver who had died in a crash on that same road exactly 1 year ago to the night. The article included a photo of the wreckage, and on the twisted license plate, Ethan saw it. The exact same number from the truck that had chased them. From that day on, he refused to drive at night. Because on that lonely stretch of highway, the phantom truck still roams, chasing anyone who dares to cross its path after midnight. 4 stories. 4 ordinary nights turned into something unspeakable. A salesman who picked up a ghostly hitchhiker. A nurse haunted by a shadow that defied the laws of reality. A driver warned by the spirit of a murdered toll-keeper. And a young couple hunted by the ghost of a long-dead trucker. Different people, different places. But one chilling similarity ties them all together: the highway. Because out there in the long, endless dark, the road remembers every scream, every death, every fear. Asphalt soaked in years of tragedy holds onto something more than just tire tracks. It holds onto energy. And sometimes that energy reaches out to those who cross it, pulling them into its haunted grip. So, the next time you find yourself driving down a lonely road at night, when the world is quiet and the shadows stretch just a little too far, keep your eyes on the mirror. Because you never know what or who might be following you home.